This is a very special guest I'm about to have on for this live stream today. We're going to be talking about something super beautiful coming up this August 21st. I'm so excited to bring her in just a moment. We're about to be talking to the OG, one of the first to really pave the way and pave the lane for astrology as we see it today. I'm very excited to see this, to tap in here, and I'm inviting her right now. Pop on in. Welcome in, everybody. But yeah, so excited for this, to be honest. But yeah, just a little bit of background. This is the one of the forerunners, the first people that I've seen, even in my astrological journey that I started to follow. So I'm just so honored and blessed to be a part of this. And I went to the Astrological Immersion last year, and it was such a beautiful event with so many people that just wanted to make a change and a difference through learning their astrology, through learning their elements, through tapping into those regards. So we're just waiting here for just a minute. Technology might be acting up a little bit, but let me still check the invite. Let me see. Try one more time. Unable to join. Try one more time. As you know, technology because technology. But today is also the full moon in Aquarius, so we are under, as she would say, a double air sky. And it's with this double air that we're actually finding a new sense of communication. We're finding a new sense of breaking into the next conversations that we need to have as a collective. So on a large scale level, on a small scale level, these are the kind of things that we're entering into. But yeah, so just a little bit more on how this is going on. And I just find it so interesting because the communication, the acceptance of other people, the speaking to other people is something that I've learned a lot of being in the classes that she's been hosting for the last year and some change. I went through levels 1 through 3. Hey, Debra. So she's in here. Let's make sure that she's there. I don't know why it's acting up. What's up? Perfect. Should hopefully this works. Let's find out. Let's see. Are we here? Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Debra?
I'm so excited. I wanted to hear what you were saying.
What I was saying is that we're under a double air sky. There's a beautiful astrological immersion. Or not double air, I'm so sorry. We're underneath
a full moon.
Full moon in Aquarius, yes. When I did schedule this, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely was like, that would be kind of cool to have for the full moon in Aquarius.
Exactly. That's like so perfect. Tell them the story of how we met. I want them to hear.
Yeah, of course. So how I met Debra on a beautiful, beautiful day about end of last year, right? She took a trip to Los Angeles. I was walking through with a close friend of mine, and we were actually planning on doing street interviews about astrology. Just, hey, who's this? What's going on? I think it was like right after Christmas, so people weren't in the mood. They were just kind of like, yeah, let me go shopping, let me do this. And so we ended up just kind of being like, maybe not today. We gave it a shot, you know? You're like, oh, you want me to like, I was like, you know what, go ahead. I'm just going to walk around for a bit. And at the time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go in and start applying to a couple of jobs and just see what's going on with like the world right now. And I went in and I bumped into this woman. And I'm like, I know this face. And I'm like, is that Debra Silverman? And I'm going back in my head like, this is the person that I've been following on the astrology email since I was a kid.
Since you were a kid?
I'm looking back and I was like 13, I want to say, like, when I like signed up for you. Because you taught me the moon phases. I didn't know how the sun and moon worked, like, in day-to-day life. And, like, you taught me, like, what that was. So I'm like, it's just so amazing and surreal to know you, be a part of this, and introduce a bit of yourself.
Hold on a minute. So he's walking. So I'm in a bookstore. And this happens too often where someone says, "Are you Debra Silverman?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he said, oh my God. He got so excited. And I was like, "Wait, what are you?" And then the coolest part was, I said, "Tell me your chart." And he was triple fire.
Yeah.
And then I got really excited. And then I found out it was so great. The level of your passion is so enthusiastic. So then what happened? Then he did level 1, 2, and 3, even though you knew astrology. And how was it different? Or what was the contribution it made?
Honestly, Debra, like, you have it down to the science. I think it's something to where, even as someone who's an astrologer, and I know you're self-taught as well, so like we have that in common as far as like there's not a lot of information. Let's do it ourselves. And so to see from where, you know, I started doing that, and to see what you've created from that and like brought to the table, and the fact that like the way you break down astrology is like, if someone doesn't believe, it's because they're choosing to. If someone doesn't understand it, it's because they're trying to make themselves not get it. And I think one of the most beautiful parts, at least from the way that you explain it, is that it gets to heart level that I don't see a lot of other astrology getting to, and that's the part that I'm starting to incorporate in my work, and that's a lot to do with you. So I appreciate that.
So glad. So that's the psychotherapy part where I'm bringing the human dimension, because so many astrologers go online. I mean, you have a humor system that makes the whole thing really entertaining, and then other people just talk. And I listen to astrologers, and I'm like, I don't really know if I can relate to today. The sun's squaring the moon, and so I should be feeling tense. I'm like, uh-oh. But because one, your creativity makes it so attractive, and then two, because I love the psychological, I want it to hit the ground. So it's all about the distinction between our heads being filled with information and our lives being filled with astrology, because we can actually adjust our stupid internal dialogue. Because everyone has the stupidest, we all talk to ourselves like, shit, so sad.
I think that's like the part that really helped me, I would say, is that like, you know, the information that I have. And that's what I was working on throughout all the level 3. So if y'all don't know, if you need to learn astrology from the ground up, this is the best place to go for it, because it's such an integrated process that you do. Like I'm very heady. I'm very like, you know, I got into astrology trying to debunk it. So it's very much like the science of it. What's going on here? Like what's moving here? Always love space. So that helped out a lot. But seeing how yours is such a like a heart fueled, everything starts in water kind of deal, versus the like you said, people just it's like, you know, and like the humor system is because I'm starting to realize it's me kind of working on my water, because this is how I'm feeling. Let's put this out there, right? And so just to give y'all a little bit of insight, like Debra's, like the beautiful part that she gets into is like the elements and balancing the elements in yourself, incorporating the elements in your life. So I'm a fire sign. What did I need more of? I needed more water. I needed more care. I needed more, like, you know, the permission slip. Got you. The permission slip to be goofy, or this permission slip to like be like, I don't feel like doing this today, right? Which is super real too. A lot of people are like, you're so consistent. I'm like, something don't feel like it, but at the same time,
you have Mercury and Capricorn in the 10th house. I mean, you're such a good little workaholic, so it's impressive. Yeah, I'm impressed with your ability. But to your point, the emotional content that comes from our school. So I want all of you to know 2 things. We only have the school doors open twice a year, in September and in January. So the doors are opening in about a month, because today's August 1st.
Yes.
So the doors are opening next month. 1, 2, there's this free 7-day immersion, August 21st. It's just starting in 3 weeks, that you guys can sign up for, right? You have it in your link?
Yeah, I'll just put it in the link in my description. So if you are over on my page, please be sure that you click onto that. And it's underneath my website, so you can just easily find it and sign up. Because like last year I did the immersion, and I'm just sitting there for like a week, and I'm like, wow. Like I don't think, one thing with you, Debra, for real, like I never saw, I don't think, like how many people like actually really enjoyed astrology. and just didn't know how to go about it. And I'm in the immersion, there's like hundreds and thousands of people just like sitting there and just absorbing like your wisdom and just like all the people's conversations. It's like such an immersive astrological immersion, but like it's such an immersive experience, and like you don't want it to end. To be honest,
Yeah,
it's like
it's such a fun, because if you're listening to Chad, you know that astrology is fascinating, but what we do is we let it hit the ground. I don't know, Preston Smiles, did you watch that interview with him?
saw a part of it. I need to finish that one actually.
So because like there's different, he's going to be on it, but there are different people that are coming to speak who are, they don't believe in it. So if you don't have to know astrology to enjoy the immersion, to your point, it's a 5-day in the week. You'll have it each day for an hour and a half. You get to listen to the application of astrology, hitting the ground with someone's chart. And then we do prayers, and the whole room, I think there's like, it ends up being 20 to 30,000 people who sign up everywhere, but it's free. So feel free, if you would like to sign up, come to get to know us. And then at the end of it, we'll tell you if you're interested how to come be part of the school.
And the school, oh man, it's because like coming from, like you said, like self-taught, like there's nothing else. I remember when I first was looking stuff up, there was only information on like Leo, Scorpio, and maybe Gemini. Like that was it, and I couldn't find anything unless I was sneaking over to like the Barnes and Noble and like reading, just hanging off reading in the little spirituality section.
I did the same thing.
Right, so it's like, and so I think that's also why we get along so well too, because it's like we
both. Well, I think I said that to you when I was in that blue class that you took.
Yeah.
That you are an ancient astrologer, similar to me. That we came in remembering. And now we're in the modern day. They never had astrologers inside of cyberspace.
No, and I think that's something that's interesting because, like, and I think that's the space where I'm getting to, and I think following your work, right? I have a different relationship to Saturn than I ever had. And I think that's been helping me out a lot in the last bit, because I'm like, going from this like neurotic space of like, what am I going to do? How do I compose? What are people going to see? Are people going to see it? And then like, now I'm like, the right people are coming through. I'm just do the work, be there, be present. And I've just seen a world of difference in just a short time. Like, and I just ended off to tell me a story as well.
I loved having you and tell me a story.
With that water class.
I know. Let's tell them. So I teach a writing class that Chad came to, and we have 4 parts to the class. In the water class, people tell it's so funny because I remember yours so well.
Right.
They tell the story of their childhood and they write it, and for some reason it's so impactful because there's 10 people in the room or 15 people in the room all sharing their story, and you experience water. It's not theory anymore.
I think that's really what it is, and I think that's like, if anything, as like, to be really honest with you, like I'm very, very like you are the type of teacher. I wouldn't say like, oh, this is like my astrology teacher. Had that not been the case, I'm very like fire sign, like, oh, I'll figure this out. And for me to be like, yo, this is someone who really taught me, like, and not just about astrology, but about life. And I think that is why, like, I hold you so dear to my heart, just as a human being. Because I'm like, yo, going from just like watching the emails and like, okay, I get it as a kid, to then being like, Debra, hi, how's it going?
I know, and now we're friends. It's so funny. Whenever I come to LA and I get to call Chad and he takes me all around, and we had that, there was a death in a family that you got to be with. That was such a profound, that was a very moving. Have you sitting in the room, you and one, in that room that day was so meaningful to me, that you got to see and be with her. We had a very dear friend, a Capricorn, who I absolutely fell in love with, this Black woman who was basically the mom. I didn't know until I got to the funeral just how many people.
It's a lot of, I understand,
She had all these people in her world that she took care of. You wouldn't believe the level of her contribution.
Right.
And at the end of the funeral, I was the only white person in the room. It was such a crazy moment. I was sitting next to Kenny, who was her husband or her partner, and he whispered to me, this was only the half of it. There, you don't even know. She did so much for so many people, and I was her fairy godmother. So I was the only one giving to her,
Right.
and she was giving to all those people, and you were sitting in the room and helped me get to that spot to be there. And
Right.
it was just a very auspicious, our connection is clearly, you know, there's a lot of alchemy and chemistry that has occurred.
Very true. I think that's like, you know, even being in that experience and just like being able to, you know, be there as an anchor. It's like, you know, it's an anchor, and like I know the space, but I obviously don't know like the fullness of the depth. So I didn't show up for all the events, but I felt that room. And so for someone where it's like, you gotta feel the water, I was like, this is the water.
That was so the water. She was on her deathbed in the living room with all of her kids. They were coming and going, and I did everything I could to not, I was such a wreck. Anyways, we're talking about death. I don't know how that happened. So the point of the story is the immersion is because that's a good example. When you're with me, I live life in the live, real experience. It's not just theory. In our school, and the immersion is hands-on. We get out of the cyberspace of just talking all day, and we go into a direct experience of feeling, and you will be different having gone to the immersion. So I just want to say that.
Yeah, and it's a magical thing that you're able to do to slow things down in a way where it's like, I think some people, they take things and it's just like, but I've seen you teach, like I've seen you do it, and I'm like, she just explained all of this and everything just stuck. And I know you don't, I know that you come, I know you really practice it through and you don't mention it, but I'm just like, it's so dope to see just like, you know, someone who is a matriarch in this space, which I will say, if no one else has told you, which I know they have, but just to double that up.
Be a double sage and speak to the obvious.
But at the same time, there's people here that may not know who you are, so I have to let them know that this is the OG. This is the person.
They called me an OG.
Yeah.
And you know what I thought it was? I thought it was an old gangster, but it's actually the original gangster.
Yeah. So, and like when I look, I obviously like have, because of the Capricorn, I'm also like let's look at the history of this. Let's see like the background, let's see what's going on. And I'm looking at things and I'm like, you really have been a forerunner, and just like very few people that I look up to, period. Like just to be
because you're so tall.
Yeah, but you do the work, and I think that it's like to this day, and I think that's something that like I'm obviously trying to figure out in my own routine, and I think comes through in those immersions, which comes through in all the people that you've taught that end up teaching levels 1 through 3. Like everyone has. Even me talking now from the first time we had the astrological immersion, it's like I feel different in a way because, all right, I do have to master my elements today. You know what I mean? Like, it's hot in LA right now. Let me make sure I start off my day with water. Now we're going air. Afterward, I'm about to go do some earth work, and then the fire just comes naturally, so I don't got to do too much for that. But but it's something to where it's changed like a real part of my psyche to gain, you know, that self-control. And I already knew a lot of the astrological parts, but you really brought the heart into it in a way where I'm like, that integration has been very, very vital for my recent and upcoming and foregoing success. So, but that was a real deal. I don't, you know.
Okay, well, all of this is to say that synchronicity and kismet work, that if you're on this right now and you're watching, coming to the immersion could be your way of having kismet live time. Like we just had you just fell into Chad's space, and then the immersion is coming up on the 21st. It's going live, and it's free, and it's all about me turning you on to you. That's really my job. I just watch people fall in love with themselves right in front of me. I'm just looking, did I leave anything out? The immersion's happening now. Here's the people that are on it. There's a man called Shervin. He's started Symbiotica. It's this very interesting supplement company, and he is from Iraq, and he is such an interesting character. Then we have a Dr. Allison Snowden, who is a medical healer. Sonia Koshep, who's a intuitive, so intuitive. She teaches intuition. She's on my podcast.
Okay, weird. I gotta check that one out too. Yeah.
Sonia. Then Preston Smiles, who's a wonderful man from Austin. And then Blue is going to be on it.
Oh, I saw that earlier. I was like, Blue's gonna be on it. Let's go.
And Ayesha's on it as well. And she is a woman. She's a Scorpio with Uranus on the sun. She's a wonderful.
I already, as soon as you said, I was like, I had to say this.
Okay, so all of you are welcome. It's free and it's in his link. And I'm so thankful. And I'm going to go into the warm day because it's here warm too. And I'm so thankful, Mr. Triple Fire. Thank you for you're such a sincere love bug.
That's true. That's something that you said something very important to me one time, and like for the people who are like closer to me, they understand this premise. But when we had we were with Blue, matter of fact, in the astrology class that you did, which was incredible, just anyway. But you ended up saying you're like the soul is a slut, and in my head I was like, is that what it is? You're like, yeah, the soul is a slut. And I'm like, oh. Cause like I really, like there's.
Let me go down on my deathbed. Your soul, everyone in this room, everyone watching this later, your soul is willing to do anything this lifetime to wake up, and it doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is, or how sad it is, or how painful it is, or how beautiful it is. Your soul is a slut.
But it was just funny because like in the Sag wanderlust of it all, I'm just like, that makes sense because like I do love people, like I really do. Like, you know, it's funny because some people they're just like, hey, do you remember this reading that we did? I'm like, yeah, we did this and I pulled that for you. We talked about this and this was in your chart, right? And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just like that kind of care and attention to things that comes in between astrology and like I said, like I have to give you credit. When I first met you, I was having a terrible time. like literally like before that, I was having the worst time ever. And then I realized to myself where I'm like, this astrology thing is my path. And like, I knew it was going to suck to start again. But I was like, this is the first time that I'm doing this for me versus trying to do it under something else. And I think that, you know, between, like, if it wasn't for that, like level 1 to 3, like, I don't know if I'd be in the same space. So like I have, you know,
it changed your life. I'm so glad. Okay, that's so good to hear. So that's great for the audience to hear. This immersion can change your life. You just don't know what's going to happen. That's real.
No, we're talking, like, I be forgetting people here. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. It's true, but it's true. It's just like, you know, I think just the living in the truth and seeing someone live in their truth and just exist in it. And like, I know you are very just like, you go about the elements, you go about the day, and it's just so average. You just out there biking, chilling. You're like,
That's what I'm about to do. That's so I have to hang up because I'm about to jump on my bike to get to the next appointment. So
what you gotta do.
I'm so happy we had this time. Yeah. Please, you guys, come to the immersion. It's free. It starts August 21st. We've got amazingly interesting characters. In California, it's 10 to 11:30 in the morning, starting on the 21st till the 25th. Okay.
I'm so excited. And please sign up, hit the link that I have in my description. I'll be putting it on my website afterward as well.
Someone just
signed up? Someone said they already signed up?
Yes, signed up. Hey, good job.Oo, woo, woo. Okay, I'm hanging up. I'm sending you so much love. I'm so grateful for you, Chad.
Much love. Back to you. Come on. Right, have
it's going in a circle. There's a whole bunch of love.
Enjoy the ride. Okay, and that is the legendary Debra Silverman. I'm still going to talk for a second because we're already here, but like, wow, that is a magical human being. Like, I can't thank them enough for the work that they put into this space. And also for y'all who don't know, sign up for my email list because I do have a couple of readings to do in a style that she taught me, and I want to offer it to the people that have asked and everything. So if you haven't signed up for my email list or had I have a bunch of free ebooks as well. So if anyone wants to learn astrology, I have an ebook out about Venus, the North Node, your rising sign. All of those are free. And this is the full moon in Aquarius, right? The full moon in Aquarius, rules astrology. You get what I'm saying? So what's this immersion? I love her too. So the immersion is basically a week-long event where she just sits and talks to very influential people. And in that influential conversation, it just, you see so many gears turn, not just within them, but also within yourself. So if you've been feeling that from this conversation, like, you know, we're just talking because that's just like love there. And she knows how to activate that love and just about everybody she comes across. Like, really adore that woman. But yeah, it's a full moon in Aquarius. We are entering into a different stage of understanding, a different stage of everything else. And on top of that, astrology is ruled by the vibration of Aquarius. So of course I had to have on the legendary OG of astrology for that full moon. But please sign up for the immersion. And if you are really into learning your astrology, if you really want to learn from the ground up, I've been studying astrology for like 10, 15 years, probably 15. But anyway, I've been studying it for a long time, and going through her course took a lot of that information that was like and like brought it down so I can tell it to anybody. So you got to thank her for the memes to a certain extent too, because that made it make sense for me to do. So I just appreciate the love there, and yeah, so much love, so much love. So yeah, that's Astrological Immersion. Please make sure that you sign up for that. I'm about to be heading out, so I can. Matter of fact, I might just do another live stream on the full moon later. I have another one out if you don't know what's going on for this full moon already. And if you are looking for like consultation, anything else along the line, your memes are educational art. Let's go. Anyway, but for real, thank you. But if anyone was looking for consultation, anything else along the lines of that, hit the description, sign up for the immersion, come join me and my very close friend Debra in another transformative experience of the heart, and just get that astrology, get that mindfulness going in a way you never have before. I will shut up now. But I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for the minds who are also in here from Debra's thing. What's my big three? How about you follow me and find out? All right. Triple fire though. Much love to you all. Have a great one. Enjoy this full moon in Aquarius. I'll be talking to you all